Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have an excellent conversation ahead with two students that are at UCLA, and actually one is an incoming first year student. Her name is Ellery, and she's with the class of 2027, and Nina, who's actually now an alum of UCLA, and she graduated with the class of 2022. But what the common thread is between the three of us actually is that we went to the same middle school and high school, the Pro School UCSD here in San Diego, California, and we attended that school for 7 years of our life. And the whole mission of it was to get first generation college students into college, and they succeeded in that mission and continue to do so. So I am very grateful to have met them at an educational seminar that was last December, which brings us here today for our conversation that hopefully provides you insights, information, and can answer some of the questions that you might have as a high schooler or a parent or guardian of a high school student. So I hope you enjoy our conversation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us either in the comments below or on our website. Ellery and Nina, thank you so much for your time and joining me. And I wanted to just start off with a quick introduction. So Nina, if you don't mind, if you could share with us like your major, what you're doing right now as far as career, and where you're from. And Ellery, for you, what major are you planning to apply or planning to major in when you get to UCLA, and maybe some of the things that you were involved in high school. So Nina, do you want to go first?
Thank you, Angelica. I'm happy to be here. Like you said, I graduated UCLA last year and I had my degree in human biology and society. I'm in my gap year before applying to PA school and getting all the experience required for that. But currently, I am working at the UCLA Simulation Center as a simulation specialist.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Ellery?
Um, well, the major I'm going to major in UCLA is electrical engineering. And some of the things I was involved in high school was ecology club, but majority of the time I would be involved in activities outside of high school. So I would be involved in fundraisers to like help kids from Mexico through my church. But then I would also be involved in fundraisers in organizations within San Diego.
That's amazing. You sound very involved. And um, when you go to college, Ellery, do you still plan to be involved on campus, or do you like know of any clubs that you want to do, or are you just kind of gonna wait and see and test the waters? And Nina, also feel free to jump in after Ellery, and maybe just share some of the stuff that you took advantage of when you were at UCLA.
Well, at first, I feel like I'm gonna test the waters and just get involved with as many clubs, but just get a sense of what they're about. But I'm still thinking about being a part of the church organizations and the fundraisers that they're part of because it's something that I really like doing.
Mallory, in college, I was a part of a few organizations, and a lot of the leaderships positions that I gained were because of my experience with ASB at Preuss. So I was involved with the Life Sciences Students Association, that's LSSA, where a bunch of pre-health, pre-med, pre-PA students were able to be like the ASB of the life sciences portion of campus, so South Campus. And then I also became like the outreach director, and then with the pre-PA club at UCLA, which was like my landing, like my jump start to my pre-PA path. I ultimately became president after being like the outreach committee director and then moving my way up in the organization. So a lot of the things I learned at Preuss through ASB translated in undergrad with leadership. So those are two of the things that I were mostly involved in, and in addition to my part-time job at the time as a student worker at the Sim Center.
Wow, so you both seem like you've been very involved on campus and have even translated some of your interests that you had in high school and brought them over to college. And with Nina, you've built upon those skills and sort of applied them in different ways that led you on your career path. You're talking about being a PA, like that's amazing. So I'm going to kind of take it back and just ask why UCLA was what attracted you to that school. For people who are in the college search right now, what are you looking for when you're applying to a school, and then why UCLA? So I'll go ahead with start with you, Nina.
UCLA was not part of my radar when I was doing my college stuff at all. It was either UCSD, maybe Yale, and my dream school was Stanford at the time. But then when I visited UCLA, I fell in love because it had aspects of Preuss with the exceptional athletics and academics. We excelled in both of them at Preuss, and UCLA was the same. And we had a football team, which was something Preuss didn't have. So I thought, okay, let me experience college for what it is. And it was just so big, and I felt so welcome there. I didn't really feel that with UCSD, maybe because I've already been used to UCSD for so long. San Diego State was great too, but UCLA just, it was a personality match at that time. It was kind of like dating, where I was like, I see myself spending the next 4 years here and even more. And that's why I'm still here after graduating and working here, because it's such a great university. And the city's awesome too. It kind of reminds me of home. I'm not too far away either. So definitely personality of the school, the location, and they paid me to go here. So
And when you're comparing it to dating, like I totally think that that is an easy way to translate to students on what they should be considering when they're applying to college, because I know you had mentioned location. For me, like that was important to me. I wanted to be close to home, but not too close. So going to a school that was 2 hours away was a good compromise. And then I was like, well, if I go to the East Coast, like that would be amazing. But it's like, I'm not used to snow. And then you have to consider, buying your plane ticket every single time to go back and forth. So when it got down and narrowing down my schools, I know that those were things that I started thinking of. So I think you're absolutely right. Like factoring in, what is my experience going to be like? You mentioned Preuss. So the Preuss School UCSD is actually the high school that we all went to, and it's in La Jolla, California, and it's just on the edge of UCSD's campus. So some of the things that Nina was saying was it was similar in that aspect. I know my class was the graduating class of 98, so I was looking for a small school. But UCLA, for you were thinking it was similar to Preuss because of the outstanding athletics and academics. So in my eyes, I wasn't even actually thinking about that. I was thinking more of like, I want a smaller class size. So it's interesting how we interpret, I guess, different items that we're looking for. So we were coming from the same place, but it kind of played out a little bit differently. And Ellery, why did you choose UCLA? Why did you commit to that being the school that you want to go to?
Similar to Nina's and how UCLA was not on my radar either. When I was applying for colleges, I decided to go like apply to UCLA because I didn't want to move far because of the plane ticket. I knew that traveling back and forth would be a hassle. So I applied, and once college acceptances started to roll out, I remember that I didn't get an email for UCLA to check my portal. And so I was confused because I didn't know. And I would get messages from my friends asking if I got into UCLA. And they sent me the portal link. I logged in, and I remember just opening the letter, and I'm just like, oh my God, I got into UCLA. And I didn't realize how like difficult it was because at that time I was so stressed about schoolwork and trying to like pass high school that they didn't really sink in how difficult it was to get into UCLA until the next day I went back to school and I started hearing about all these people that their dream school was UCLA and sadly they didn't get in. And then I started hearing about how only like 5 students from my class got into UCLA. And I was left surprised, but I didn't really take it into consideration until I actually went there for Bruin Day. And I fell in love with the campus. I was looking for a place that involved my culture. And compared to UCSD, I feel like UCLA does a really good job in that because as I was growing up, I would really struggle with accepting my culture and accepting I was Mexican because of the environment I was placed in very young. And I feel like in UCLA, it was just celebrated. Like there was a lot of culture there compared to UCSD. And when I went to UCSD for their welcome day, the campus was really big. Like the campus has expanded now. And I was envisioning myself being there, but I can't envision myself waking up at 7 in the morning to walk to a class, like on the other side of campus. And especially because they started building 8th College, it's at the very corner of UCSD, and I did not envision myself walking to the other side to get to the electrical building and engineering building. And I feel like UCLA was a really good fit because of that. And it was also 2 hours away. And I was investigating how to go back and forth. And the coasters there. It's really, it really did, it really was convenient for me and my family. My family really liked it too. And it's not big compared to UCSD. I feel like the classes are really smaller. And I was just looking for I was just looking for a school that's not really big to the point that I don't know anyone at the school. I feel like in UCLA, even though you don't know them, you kind of see them around because the campus is smaller. And I really like that about UCLA.
Would you recommend visiting a college before you commit? Or if you're unable to visit, what other sort of ways can students gauge on how to choose a college? Visiting their website, like what sorts of things would you recommend?
Definitely visit. I think you can't skip that part when you're choosing colleges. There's only so much like a website or even a virtual tour can tell you. But you just have to get a feel for it. It's ambiance, it's a combination of the weather, the people. I've heard people doing like the smile test on college campuses, just smile around random students, see if they smile back, and that'll kind of give you a gauge. I also have heard parents giving like during their tours when they're on a break, like giving a student like $10. Tell me the honest truth for $10 about the school. What do you like about it? What you don't like about it? And that was super interesting. I've never seen that happen, but I've read about it, and maybe that's something I'll do for my kid when we're touring colleges. But ask those questions. Maybe veer off the campus guided tours. They might be a little bit doctored. They might, say things that they want you to hear. But if you want the truth, go explore by yourself and sit in a class in the back row and see how the professors are like. But for me, it wasn't an instant hit that I chose UCLA. I thought about it, but when I broke it down and did the pros and cons of risk cost assessment, it was evident that UCLA was for me.
I think go attending like welcome days and where there's specific days that the college has to welcome incoming students is really good because you get to feel the personalities and not just the professors, but also the students. And you get to see how involved students are because it depends on whether students really like the college to be involved in their welcome days and be involved in activities. But I also think it's really important to not just attend welcome days because from what I've heard from advice from my teachers is that welcome days are basically a day for colleges to show off all they have to offer to incoming students. So it's better to go not just a welcome day, but also in any other day where you can see students in their natural environment and see how they are, how stressful the workload is, if you want to be involved with the activities that UCLA offers, but then also what other characteristics are really important for you.
So extremely valuable. Thank you, ladies, for answering that, because you think you might know, but you don't really know until you go and see and experience it for yourself. So, Ellery, what are you most excited about attending college for the first time? Like, what are you looking forward to most when you get to UCLA?
Just looking forward to making connections because I honestly like the path that I chose is engineering, but it's not my end goal because I want to one day start a nonprofit. So I feel like UCLA had the most opportunities to give me in that area in networking compared to other colleges because like the East Coast colleges are really focused on academics, but what I'm looking for is something that will not only like give me academics, but also make connections with people that would one day support me, help make a nonprofit because that's my end goal and that's what I want to do.
Maybe turning it back to you, Nina. Is there anything that you went into college thinking like, oh, it's going to be this way, but it was maybe like a misconception, something that was different when you got there, like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. It doesn't have to be UCLA specific, just maybe like college in general compared to high school.
I want to say I always knew like the college life and social life would be pretty social and pretty, jovial. But I didn't expect UCLA to be that hard. Like UCLA folks are fun and they're as serious with their social life as they are with academics. That's saying much because UCLA is a great academic research institution. But rarely will you ever find yourself surrounded by tens of thousands of other people your age, but from different parts of the globe. So I didn't expect for my, the girl sitting next to me to be from Israel. or, the guy in my class whose mother has a piece of the Berlin Wall that fell. It's like you see and you meet these people from all walks of life, and you learn about where they're from by just talking to them, and you're becoming more worldly through your peers. And that's something I did not expect coming from Troyes, where everybody has come from, similar background from San Diego, from low income communities. So it's culture shock.
Thank you for that, Nina. And Ellery, do you have any fears or any big questions, being as a recent graduate and then making that transition into college that, again, could be about college in general or maybe something UCLA specific, given that Nina's already gone through the full process of being there as a student and graduating?
Right now, my biggest fear is missing opportunities and deadlines. Like that's one of my biggest fears because especially I'm the only one from Preuss to go to UCLA. So I have to rely on alumni that have already transferred to UCLA, have already begun the process and have went through the process that I am going through right now. But that's one of my biggest fears right now. I know that I'm just still trying to adjust to being in UCLA, but not being in UCLA, not being in high school either, because I'm just graduated. And it's just a lot of things to think about because with housing and with financial aid and Bruin Bill and all of those other like links, I know I spent a lot of time just trying to research about everything because I'm scared of missing something. But then I'm also scared of how life is going to be at UCLA because it's different from Preuss. And I know that at Preuss, we were all in a small bubble. So everyone knew everyone. And there was just a lot of support there. I don't know how it's going to be at UCLA. I've heard that they are really supportive, but I'm scared that I'm not going to fit in. It's a lot of fears that are right now because I haven't been in the college yet with students. I haven't interacted with freshmen. So I don't know how it's going to be, and that's one of my fears right now.
I felt the same way coming in. In terms of meeting deadlines, I would say keep track of them by either your phone and just communicating with the class of 2027, like Instagram page or Facebook pages. I think those really help. Emailing the school directly is always a great one, through the portal on My UCLA. They are exceptionally responsive. In terms of not feeling like you're fitting in, there's a group for everybody on campus, and I encourage you to just take up space. Take up the space. You have a seat there for a reason. You got accepted. They want you. People want you at UCLA. And in times of doubt, if you look behind you, we're all standing behind you. We're rooting for you. We're lifting you up. And I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to Mr. Carr, Dr. Weber, Ms. Garcia, because there were times when I felt alone. That's inevitable in college. You're going to feel like, oh my gosh, either imposter syndrome, culture shock. That's totally normal, but how you respond to that will allow you to keep going forward. And you're not going to be the only one who feels that way in college, especially if you surround yourself with people who are similar to you or even different, who offer different perspectives. And it will be a bit of research finding those resources for you, and definitely please reach out if you need those resources. But you're not alone. I know it's cheap to say, but you have so many people rooting for you, both at home and in the new city. It's normal. This adjustment period, the summer before college, is always the jitteriest time for people. So that's totally normal. Enjoy it while you can, because you're gonna hit the ground running.
I would just echo everything that Nina said, Ellery, and any high school students and incoming freshmen that are listening to this, because there is a space for you when you get to college. The school handpicked you to be at their school because they saw something in you that you can contribute to their campus. And so do not ever feel like you're alone. It is going to be an adjustment, a transition from your high school going to a completely different space to learn. And it's going to be hard. It's going to feel weird, but just know everyone is in the same boat, number one. Number two, this is a new opportunity to make new friends. Like, think about how close you are with your friends that you made in high school, even if it's just one friend or a relationship, not a relationship, but like a connection with like a teacher or like a mentor, someone that you volunteered with. Like, that is your community that you still have back home that is always going to be there for you. But don't be afraid to make even more communities when you get to college, because those connections that you make, they're going to be there to carry you through your future. That's just adding more value than the community that you already have. It's expanding your net, it's expanding your network. And those are going to be people that you might be working with one day at a company, or who could refer you to a job opportunity. So don't lose connection with the people that are there, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like I said, everyone's in the same boat, so it might be awkward, like being like the cafeteria, like, can I sit next to you? Like, go for it. Like, what do you have to lose? All they could do is say no. So just try to put yourself out there, get involved on campus. And again, just echoing everything Nina said, we're also here for you. So anyone listening to this, I'm sure Ellery and Nina, you'd probably be open to having some students reach out to you, maybe by email or by Instagram. But if anyone has any questions specific about UCLA, I'd be happy to get you in contact with these ladies, and maybe we'll do an update video to see how you're doing, Ellery, maybe down the line after your first year or first semester of college, if you're open to it. But we can go ahead and close out with just a final question. If there's any last advice or tips you have for success, that's going to prepare students entering college, Nina, and then Ellery speaking to high school students, help them prepare to get to college.
So advice that I have for high school students is to be involved in clubs that connect to you personally. Because I know that when I first started high school, I would be involved in like many clubs, but it didn't speak to me personally. I wasn't a part of it. So I would attend the club meetings, but it just wouldn't be something that I would be passionate about, and I would force myself to be passionate about to go into college. But once I learned about the whole application process for college, it's better to have a list of extracurricular activities that most speak to your personality, so that admissions officers can get a sense to what you are passionate about. And another thing is to be self-disciplined and to stay organized. I know that everyone always says that, but it's really important. And I personally need to start being more organized once I attend UCLA, because compared to high school, it's nothing compared to high school. And that's just something I really need to work on.
I would say be the best self advocate for yourself. I think at Preuss, because we came from first generation background, there was a bit more support on that end. But when it comes to college, not everybody comes from a first generation background. So there's some expectations you have to meet, and they won't spoon feed you or hold your hand with that sort of information. So be your own self advocate and ask the questions you need to succeed. And don't be afraid, don't be ashamed. There's resources, confidential resources, and anonymous resources that you can also ask. Everybody's here to help you. There's a great first generation low income support group on campus to be a part of for tutoring, for financial questions, and every university should have one for you to utilize. Use those resources, have so much fun, enjoy. Don't forget to have fun. You're a college student, you're a student, yes, but you're also a human being. And so don't be too caught up in the textbooks. Have fun and have friends and find your community. You definitely fit in. Everybody fits in college, no matter who you are. And you can be who anybody you want to be. So that's the beauty of it all. So have fun and study hard, but also enjoy the time you have there. Time goes by so quickly.
Thank you, ladies, again for your time. Ellery, best of luck to you as you begin your first year of college, and just explore, have fun. And Nina, congratulations to you as well. You're a college graduate and you're now in the work world for over a year. So just keep on soaring, both of you. And I'm just so proud of you and very thankful to have shared this time with you. Mwah.